Okay, we're gonna show a young lady here complaining about how white girls are stealing all the men that she wants, or basically, all the white girls are stealing all the dudes that she's attracted to. Now, this is what when I'm looking at her and seeing her complaints, I already know what the problem is. And by the way, this is a smut author. By the way, this is an author. So her name is First Date Diaries. Right? She seems, looking at the following count and the followers account, she seems like she's a very famous author until you see what she writes about. Right? So in the bio it says First Date Diaries for the 304s plus romantics, award-winning SEX educator. I don't even want to click this link right here. Ghostwriter plus Polly plus KINKY. So this is a famous smut author, right? Let's hear out her grievances though. Let's hear out her let's hear out her grievances.
I won't lie to you folks, there is nothing quite worse than getting all dolled up for a night out and going out with your baddest friends, and then seeing a guy that you think is hot and building up the confidence to go flirt with him and thinking for a moment that things are going well, that maybe you have riz, maybe you have a little game, and that this might go somewhere, just to leave for a moment and then come back to find him swarmed by a sea of white women and have him choose one of them over you. Like, what? They don't, like, what are what are they wearing? Like, they came out looking like they're fresh out of college. Their waistlines are frozen. They are not breaking it down on the dance floor like I could show you a good time. And what?
I don't want to say the obvious, but when I saw her and I looked at her, her Instagram profile, I saw how she presents herself. When I see her, I'm like, oh, this is a swirler. This is definitely like she's going after Chads. I'm not saying she's never had Tyrones, but she wants Chads. But I'm talking about, like, I don't even think, like, I think even with her, she doesn't want Brad, because she keeps talking. So right here, she keeps talking about how there's a sea of white women already looking for the guy that she wants. That means she's picking a guy. That means she's picking a guy, particularly a Caucasian dude, that is way above her, is that, like, she could get a Brad. But I could tell she doesn't even want a Brad. She wants Chad. She doesn't want Brad. She wants Chad. She's Chad hunting, right? Now, Chad hunting tends to be, centered around, it's usually white women, and it's usually like white women of a specific class, looking for Chads. But yeah, she's yeah. But anyway, I think even with her, like, she is either, it's like Chad's first choice is either Chad's or sugar, like, or Caucasian sugar daddies for her. It's either one or the other. Those are the only two dudes. Those are her top two choices. I don't know which one is one or number two, but at the end of the day, I would say women her age, they're looking for a man. They're looking for a Chad that's obviously a little bit older, but not too much older. But she don't mind getting a white sugar daddy as well. So that's what I can tell. That's her problem, is she's going after Chads that are way above her, level. Let's replay this one more time. I just want to highlight some things in this one, because this one was a pretty easy one. I'm not even gonna hold you. This one was a pretty easy one.
I won't lie to you folks, there's nothing quite worse than getting all dolled up for a night out and going out with your baddest friends, and then seeing a guy that you think is hot and building up the confidence to go flirt with him.
And like us, there's a lot of dudes that say, man, women got to approach us. The problem is with that approach is, if you let women do the approaching, they're only going to approach, like, the 5 or 10% percentage. I'll say the 5%ers, right? The top 5% men are only going to be chosen if you let women do the choosing. When women do the choosing, they select way, like, I'm talking about way above their level. You know what I mean? When it comes to, like, women are not, I keep trying to tell people, women are not looking for equality or partnership, or if they say these words, their version of equality or partnership is not the same definition of what they're looking for, right? So off rip, that's how I could tell, like, oh, she's chasing after dudes that are way above her level. Okay. And what I also what I also tell people is this: if particularly women, if you're chasing a dude, if you find a dude attractive, that means basically all of the women around you find him attractive as well. Because women don't find most men attractive. Men find most women attractive, right? But when it comes to women, when it comes to just, I'm talking about just pure physical attraction, they only find 5 to 10% of men attractive, and the rest of the men they deem below average, not average, but below average. So with this ends up leading to her situation. You know what I mean?
him and thinking for a moment that things are going well, that maybe you have riz, maybe you have a little game, and that this might go somewhere, just to leave for a moment and then come back to find him swarmed by a sea of white women and have him choose one of them over you. Like,
well, when it comes to races of women, I'm talking about across with men, across all men of all races, black women are usually chosen last, right? So now, especially if you're going to leave it up to a Chad or even a Brad, and you give them the option, um, especially if it's like a whole bunch of white women coming right after you, especially if they see you approach him, they're gonna be like, oh, all I got to do is just go and approach, and he's going to choose them over you. I'm not saying that makes them better people. That doesn't make them better. I'm just telling you the reality, of that situation.
what? They don't like. What are what are they wearing? Like, they came out looking like they're fresh out of college. Their waistlines are frozen. They are not breaking it down on the dance floor like I could. I could show you a good time. And what?
But yeah, in her case, she's going a little bit too far. Like I can tell she's Chad hunting. She's definitely Chad hunting. That's not gonna work. She needs to just stick with the sugar daddies, that'll pay her for a good time, not a long time, and the potential brads, not brads. I'm talking about the potential brads. She should be fine with that. But that's really what it is. You know, in her case, and this is actually most cases when it comes to black women in general. It's a lot of the older you get, you realize there's a lot of black women like this that it's not even about racism or stuff like that. They're always seem to be eternally mad at white women because of the certain privileges that they have. So they tend to be very, jealous of white women, but they won't admit it. They talk about cultural appropriation, but they be wearing, well, she's not wearing a wig, but then they talk about, we talk about wigs, we talk about uh, uh certain, lightening creams that, unfortunately, heavily melanated sisters will put on to make themselves lighter and stuff like that. It's always been a the same way like black women are insecure about white women, the same way white women are insecure about, or sorry, insecure about white women, the same way white women are insecure about Asian women. So it's not just a problem. Insecurity is not something that's just rampant with black women. It's also rampant really amongst all races of women. You know, but yeah, but particularly it's particularly when it comes to black women and white women are alike in actually certain facets, where you'll have black women are really insecure about white women, and white women being insecure about Asian women, right? So this is some interesting stuff. So right here, let's look at her post, her caption. She says, "I don't see race, I see rhythm." That's well. Oh my god, man! Why we are already lying, man? What is it with these people, man?
Cap.
Yeah. Anyways, let's keep reading this caption. She said, "It's for real. Isn't that deep? I just find it funny." That's cap. She goes, "God bless all the white baddies in the club. I'm airing my grievances." Yeah, you can tell she's frustrated because she's already mispronouncing words, misplacing words. But anyways, she goes, "At the end of the day, shooting your shot and flirting with someone is just taking a chance, and it's truly no big deal if you strike out. And yes, sometimes it is about race, but sometimes it just be like that." Well, you just said, "I don't see race, I see rhythm." So, like I said, I was pretty spot on. She is she's capping. Um, okay, she says, "I can't stop taking risks and being brave, though. Feral, flirty summer, here I come." Um, Somebody said maybe he thought your energy was not feminine enough, but don't trip. It's someone for everyone. So a black woman here goes, "If he walked away with a white woman, he wasn't for me in the first place." Now, I don't think she's like, me personally, I don't think she's talking about Um, I don't think she's talking about chasing a black dude. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong, but looking at her profile and the stuff that she's talking about, I think she's a swirler. I think she's a swirler. I'm not saying she's a divester. I think she's a swirler, meaning she rather go for a man with of another race. Let me see. Sometimes the things we want may not be the things we need. Yeah, facts. But like I was saying, if I was a black dude, I would not touch this. Just letting black dudes know I would not touch this. Only because by the time she realizes that white dudes are not going to take her that seriously, the Chads, you know, what's going to happen is she realized the Chads are not going to take her that seriously. She can't get a relationship from a sugar daddy. Then she's going to try the Brads. Then when even the Brads are rejecting her, then she's going to try to go with ninjas. But like I said, I try to tell dudes in general of all races, don't go with women that don't really see you as a first choice, right? So that's why I would tell black dudes for this one, probably not. Probably not, unless if you can handle, you know, the Chad carousel that she was on before you. Now, most black dudes are not that like if a black dude finds out, I'll say like the black dudes I grew up with, if they found out like their girl was with a white dude in the past, it's usually not a big deal. But I'll say for today's black dudes, because they tend to follow in they tend to follow in the direction of what black women are saying. They get shocked when they find out like the most pro black woman is dating a Chad or a Brad, right? Usually they be dating Brads, but in her case, she's Chad hunting because she could get a Brad. She can definitely get a Brad, but the way she's complaining about it and the type of, she seems like a freak type girl when you're looking at her profile. She's literally a smut author. So she's a Chad slash, like she comes across as either Chad or sugar daddy. That's it. And then everybody else comes after that. You know what I mean? But anyways, let me know what you think, because I could be wrong. I could be wrong about this. I could be wrong about this one, but she comes across as a Chad hunter, a Chad slash sugar daddy hunter. So let me know what you think in the comment section. By the way, this, like I said, this is her Instagram profile. If you guys want to look up what she's about, if you guys want to buy any of her smut books, any ladies watching this, you want to buy any of her smut books, you know, go right ahead. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'm